Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode on Entrepreneurs Corner. My name is Christy, and I'm your host. Today in the house, we have two amiable guests, Mr. Ajibade and Miss Maria. And on today's topic, we'll be discussing scaling businesses. As you should know, big companies today did not grow before creating structure. They created their structure first and then growth came in afterwards. So structure comes before growth, structure creates growth. Now, my guests today, welcome. How are we all doing today? I hope we had really good weekends. We had restful days during our weekends. You're welcome. We're going to jump right into our topic today, scaling businesses. How do we scale a business, a new business?
Like rightly said at the beginning of the conversation, that big businesses do not just become big. They started with creating a structure and then they build on it. So one of the key reasons why those businesses are able to grow big is because they have a structure in place. And if you're going to scale a business, what it means is you also have to create such structures. Now, to start with, one of the key things is standardizing your daily operations. You know, if you're starting a business and you do not have an idea of what you like to do, or you don't have an idea of what you need to do, or what your team need to do, or what are those things that the requirement for you to have that business in place, then you might not be able to get it right. So one of the things is you have to sit down with the business, even if it's already, operational. Sit down and standardize your operations. Take out your finance operations, your marketing operations, your sales operations, every other operations that you feel the business needs. Standardize them, have them written down, such that you are able to follow this process, and as such, that brings the scaling or the growth to your business.
Okay, so if you have to start a business, even if it means you taking a paper and a pen and sitting down and make a proper plan, draft out your plan and standardize the business like you said. How about you, Miss Maria? How do you scale?
I agree with him. You build a simple SOP as a structured operations procedures. You have to itemize what each unit in your business represents. The marketing team, they have to know their KPIs. The finance team, they have to know their KPIs. That they will also have the legal team that has to also know the legal implications of your business and be able to translate it to both the management as well as your staff. So this is a standard procedure that has to be
Followed.
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned the legal team. How important is it for a legal team to be part of the business? Because if you we notice most businesses these days, especially small business, they just start the business and then just start doing things. So how important is it for you to have a legal team in your business?
It's very important and it's key because for you to have a standard business in a country like Nigeria, here, you relate with the government agencies and their policies and licenses that you should acquire and have as a business. So, if your legal team is not up to date with your licenses and your quality, and not following the necessary compliances, for instance, you would encounter issues with the government agencies, and before you know it, to affect your business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you'll be facing lawsuits and penalties.
Okay, sorry. So I digress a little bit but it's still part of scaling the business. Well, so how do we back to scaling businesses?
Okay. So, if I need to add to what you just said, having a legal team is quite important, like you rightly mentioned, but you might not necessarily maybe hire a legal person if you're still small. Your finances, turnover tells about all of this. If your resources is not enough to have all of these persons in place, you can outsource it. There are organizations that allows you or that could handle such things for you, and you don't have to pay them monthly salaries. Just based on when you need them, you are able to go to them or have them as consultants, and they're able to help you handle this part of the business.
Yeah, so you can just have them look at your books from time to time.
Exactly.
Yes.
That makes sense, and you don't spend so much. It's just consultation, and they're able to assist you accordingly. One of the things she also mentioned was KPIs, key performance indicators. Now, if you're going to scale, what it means is for every role you've created, there has to be key performance indication. You have to be able to create clear job descriptions for your team.
Okay.
Now, if my team does not know what they are expected to do, then if they don't do it, it's not a problem to them, it's my problem.
So, as you have not given them anything to do, structured things to do.
Exactly, and once you've created a KPI, you have to also build your, you also have to audit monthly. You have to check your records and see it's just where the performance is, where you're having challenges, what needs to be upskilled, what needs to be reviewed, and all that.
Okay. That's nice. So create a KPI and then audit. Make sure you audit. You don't just create KPI and then let it ride and then you're not following up. So next is audit. What else?
All right. One other thing that is quite important, which many businesses fail to do, is building a financial record system. Now, what this simply means is many people or many businesses today just have people buying whatever it is that they sell. They in turn buy whatever it is that they need for the business, and the transactions keep going like that without having a proper record of what is happening on daily, on weekly, or monthly basis. Now, if you don't have this record system, what it means is, especially coming to 2026, what it means is you can have a situation where the government can just tell you, okay, this is the tax you're going to pay, because you don't have a record to tell what are your income, what are your expenses, what are those things that you're spending money on, what are those things that are taxable, what are those that are not taxable. So you have to build that record system. Even if it requires, many people think until you have an electronic system before you have this. No, you can have it the traditional way. People still use books and pens to write things up till now, but it's usually advisable to have it electronically, and most of these applications for these things are quite handy these days. You can even use Excel. You can have an Excel format where you have this total number of sales made, total number of expenses we did this month, total number of things that we did, total number of everything that. So you have it in a simple format such that you have a clear record of what the expenses of your business is.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. So as a business, you should make sure you have clear records of everything that you're doing on a day-to-day. As a business owner, I believe at least you should be able to learn, even if it's just Excel, just for a record's sake. But then in case where you cannot learn to use Excel, people still use paper and pen. It's not a taboo to use paper and pen these days. So you can still just make sure you keep a record of your day-to-day activities for your business. Thank you very much for that.
So I quite agree to. In addition, you should also build a culture of accountability amongst your team.
Okay.
So your team should be able to give account of what their day-to-day activities is, including the expenditure, so that they can keep proper track records of your income and expenditures and budgets, and then you can now look at your profits and then make your judgments and your decisions based on what you have. So that is how you measure your growth.
That's good. So that helps you a lot in growth measurement. Yes. So you're not just doing business and you don't know if you're growing, if you're stagnant, or if you're going back. So it's still all record keeping. So you have to track everything that you're doing. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So still on scaling businesses, what else do you think businesses can do in order to scale up that helps them with their structure?
So another key one is training your team. Now, it is one thing to recruit people to do whatever it is that you need them to do. It's another thing for them to understand how do I do it. Now, if I'm maybe a fresh graduate who has just come out of school and I got this offer and I started working, you realize that most times they don't have that requisite experience as to what you need them to do rightly.
Okay.
So you have to train them. You as a business owner understand what exactly you need to achieve. What are your goals? What are your objectives? How do I achieve this? You need to train your team on achieving these goals. If you leave them to maybe go and learn on their own or just go and do whatever it is that they won't give you the results that you want. So training your team is key to scaling your business. There are people that perhaps they're even experienced, but what they are doing where they were coming from might not be similar or might not be exactly what you want them to do here. So you have to train them to match up to what your processes are, what your expectations are, and what are your objectives. This way they are able to, blend with the system and at the same time give you exactly what you want.
I think this particular point is very important. So if you're going to do any business, you need to know a lot about that business in the first place before bringing in hands to help you with the business. For example, let's say you want to go into tailoring. You have to be able to know how to sew yourself so that you can direct people on how to work properly for you, how to deliver good results for you, so that you can direct them. So don't just go into a business that you know nothing about and then you bring in hands to help you. That business will probably go down if you yourself don't know what you're doing in the business.
In fact, you'll be held in ransom because at the end of the day, you realize if any of the major guys go, then your business is dead.
You are on your own. You don't know what to do again.
Also, you have to build a hiring process in addition to training your team.
Exactly.
If you don't hire competent hands to handle your business, it has to be a process of you understanding who you're bringing in into your business. If you don't understand what your goal is, what the business is all about, you cannot, for instance, hire a carpenter to come and run a computer company for you because they are two individuals that have their own strengths somewhere else within the business. So if you have to do the hiring process, the least you can do is probably hire or contact an agency to help you with the hiring process and tell them exactly what you want so that you can streamline with what they can align with your vision and goal of your business. So what your core values are for a business, they have to understand that, which brings after the hiring process, you move on to creating a proper onboarding also for your staffs. Your staffs, you should be able to translate what your core values are, what the business is all about, and how to align. For instance, somebody you can assume that they know they should just use common sense to know what your business is all about. No, you have to be able to onboard them properly so that they align with your core values. For instance, a lot of people are into the tailoring industry, but it depends on your individuality, what you're bringing in, what your genuinity, what you're bringing in. So your staff should be able to understand what you want and where you're going to.
So that's very true, and I think that's actually very key also to scaling your business. If not, your business will probably just be on a level. It's not going higher, it's not going lower. You're just there as a business, which is very, very bad for business. You have to be able to scale up in some ways. Alright, Mr. Ajibade, what else do you have for us on scaling businesses?
All right. To round it up all, I will encourage every business to try as much as possible to systemize their customer experience. What this means is you need to regularly get feedbacks from your customers. You need to know what are those things that they like about your business. What are the shortfalls? What are those things that those issues they're having with your business? It might be your product, it might be the people of the business, so you need a proper customer experience measurement flow. How do you achieve this? First of all, every business we understand should have a contact number. You should have a way of people reaching out to you, maybe via social media or through calling or any other means. So creating that avenue for people to be able to reach you properly, and then documenting those calls, documenting those interactions is another thing. I can, as maybe a customer care person, have 10 complaints from my customer and I don't tell anybody about it. After I've attended to the call, but nobody knows what those customers are complaining about. So that way, the business does not have an idea of what the pain points of my customers are. They don't have an idea of how do we improve on our products. They don't have an idea of what exactly do customers expect from us. So if there is no systemic customer experience measurement, all of this will not allow those businesses to scale. When you have good feedback from customers, you have feedback that tells about what your lapses are, you can build on those to improve whether your product or your processes or your people. But if you don't have this in place, it becomes a stumbling block for your business. So it's always advisable for businesses to have a systemized customer experience. And one of the things that we are also trying to, bring on is for business to have business numbers. Most times you see businesses using GSM numbers, and what happens is if the person who is particularly handling that particular phone is not available, then that means the business is not available for that time. But there are, services now that allows a single call from customer to perhaps bring on multiple phones. So that way, if one person is not picking, you have someone else available to pick that call. So this helps to have that systemic customer experience check. It tells businesses to keep record of what people are talking about their business, what the customers are complaining about, and how they can actually mitigate around issues that businesses having around their customers.
Thank you so much for that. So feedbacks are very important in businesses. Make sure you create a channel for your customers, for your clients to be able to give you feedbacks, because only with feedbacks from your clients will you be able to grow your business properly. So if your services are still needed in the market and if your services are actually tending to the needs of your customers or not, or what you need to change in the business. Thank you so much, my amazing guests. Thank you for all your contributions. Thank you for everything that you agreed on. Oh, and back to talking about creating proper contact channels for your customers. I'm going to talk about our proud sponsors, Sky ID. You should go to their website, skyid.ng, if you're a business owner, and check out what they have or what they have to offer to you and your business. Okay, so to round this podcast up today, we'll be playing a short game, a small game before we close. So we don't close on a very serious note, but for my people, I hope you have been able to get certain points from this podcast on how to scale your business. If you did not catch all of them, watch the podcast all over again and put down the points because they will really help you in your business. So we're playing a small game. It's a trivia called Two Truths and a Lie. So you're going to tell me two truths and one lie, and then I'll have to pick which one is a lie and which one is the truth. So let's start with you, Miss Maria. Two truths and a lie. You say two truths and then one lie.
Okay, I was born in the UK. Aside the fact that I'm an electrical engineer, I also sew. I include a tailor. I'm 78 years.
Okay. I definitely got a lie. 78 years is a lie. Because you don't look anything older than 30 even. So that 78 years is definitely the lie, and the first two are shoes. What about you, Mr. Ashman?
I have to make it very difficult.
Please try.
So 1, I'm a chef. 2, I play football. 3, I love reading.
Okay. I believe you love reading. For one, I believe you play football. That one, I'm pretty sure. Then you're a chef. You love reading. You're not a chef, Mr. Adibade. I don't believe that part. But you love reading, yes. Am I correct? You're not a chef.
I actually believe he is a chef, but it's really the aspect of it.
I don't play football.
Oh wow! So you're a chef.
Football.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You got me on that one because I definitely was sure of the football part.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for watching today's episode.
Thank you for having me.